Good afternoon, Concord Township, and welcome to our next edition of Talk of the Township. We're glad you're joining us today. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful weekend. With that, Talk of the Township sort of came about from the fireside chat that was done by the last Board of Trustees. It gives us the opportunity to update our residents in the community about what's going on in the township specifically and things that we're engaged in, and to keep our residents informed. First off, I hope everybody is safe and well during these challenging times. We certainly hope everybody is doing well during these times in our country. We have some updates as far as the COVID-19 situation. We continue on a weekly basis to be engaged with the mayors and managers meetings so we can keep our residents informed on the newest recommendations by our state so we can keep everybody healthy and safe. Some of the things we're doing in Concord Township in regards to that, at Concord Community Center, we limit the guests to 35 guests. We do require masks in all the buildings, and there are universal sanitation protocols in place to make sure everybody can enjoy the amenities of Concord Township safely. So some of the biggest news is the fire station project, and it's fitting today that we're here in station number 2 for our Talk of the Township. We recently had a special meeting the beginning of the week after several weeks and months of planning and collaboration with the community on pushing the fire station project forward. We know that it's imperative for our first responders that we maintain their safety and wellness and health during these challenging times so that they can respond to our needs in our community in a safe fashion. With that, we voted collectively on Tuesday's special meeting to put on an affordable bond levy for the voters to support in our community to help fund this project. Concord is invested, but we need support from our community to get this project through. The support would be required through a 0.6 mil bond levy to support the construction of both fire stations, Station 1 and Station 2. And there's been some talk as to why now. And our job as good stewards of the township is to make sure that we take care of our residents and to make sure we take care of our first responders and to also shield as many people as we can from any type of financial obligation during these difficult times. So with that, when we collectively voted for this initiative, we looked at the fact that we need to make sure that we have a safe environment for our firefighters and first responders to work out of. Decontamination is very important at this point in time, especially with the health crisis in the world, and we don't have those facilities for our first responders and firefighters to be decontaminate properly and to respond to our community's needs effectively. So that's one of the reasons why we are working to push this through now. The other reasons are we want to take advantage of the low interest rates that are going on right now. It puts us in a position where we can pay off the debt early and would help shield the residents from additional financial burden. With that, we also have our Morley Library levy that it was going to be coming off the beginning of the year. That was a 0.7 construction bond levy to help fund the construction of the Morley Library. That falls off the beginning of next year, which would pretty much shield 60% of the township from having any type of tax increase to support this initiative. And the other 40% in Chardon and Menor, it would be a very affordable ask to support this great initiative. It would be $21 per $100,000 of home value. So we are working hard with the community to try to get this done. We plan on having some additional stakeholder meetings to engage the community during this initiative prior to November to answer any questions. Sometimes, information gets out that might not be accurate. We want to make sure we're there and available to answer any questions that you may have in a constructive environment. So the stakeholder meetings have been very beneficial. So we plan on continuing with those, during this project and through the project of construction, I believe, to sort of get some input from the community, as it goes through its steps. So, lastly, I would welcome any of the township residents that have any concerns or questions about the fire station project to please reach out to us. We're all very accessible by our phones or email, and we're happy to answer any questions that you have. So we got a lot more things to cover with you tonight, and I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Lucci.
Thank you, Mr. Dondorfer. It's always a pleasure to be with my fellow trustees, and it's certainly a pleasure to be here at your Concord Fire Station number 2. It's always wonderful to be with men and women who dedicate themselves to service to others. As I said, I think this week, our first responders typically think of other people before themselves. So us as stewards of the community feel it's time to make sure that our firefighters, our first responders, are taken care of as well. And I know the community feels that way. So we did choose to decide on a bond levy that we thought would be the best fiscally as far as taking advantage of the timing, as Carl said, with the interest rates, being able to pay off early, paying less to put this on the ballot at this time, and letting us build 2 stations. We need 2 stations, not just 1. We feel we've changed a lot since last year. We've come down in square footage. We've come down in the amount of ask. We sought contributions from the community, which we received, and we're very grateful. Very grateful for all the input that we received at the stakeholder meetings. We continue to receive input from the community, and as Carl said, we look forward to more of that with continued stakeholder meetings. We realize it's a lot of information. We try to simplify things as much as possible, so please reach out if you have any questions. These numbers sometimes can be confusing, so we're happy to make those understandings simpler. With that, again, I want to thank our first responders, our firefighters. We value your service, and as always, we thank you, Concord residents, for your contributions, and we certainly hope to have your support when we go forward with putting this project forward and building these 2 very badly needed fire stations.
Thanks, Amy. Morgan?
Thank you. It's truly an honor to be here today, sitting in Concord Station number 2 with my fellow trustees. It's been a very exhilarating start to the year. I mean, we're 7 months into working together, and I'm just very proud to serve with both of you, and I'm really excited and proud to be here with some of the Concord firefighters in Station 2. And I think back to when I was a kid and I would ride in a school bus up Prouty Road to 84 and take the route to Melridge, and I think about that a lot now sitting here, and as a small child, that I would someday be here advocating for this very important project. And you both have spoken very well and highly of our firefighters and our EMS personnel. We know, we hear that on a daily basis, how great Concord Fire is and what an excellent job they do serving the community. And to that point, this project has absolute merit just based on their service alone. But when you think about the dangers that they face, and I remember learning about this project last summer as a candidate for trustee and starting to become educated on what decontamination spaces were, I certainly started out the year realizing there was importance of that, and then we had COVID come along. And I remember at the end of February, Deputy Chief Terriaco explained a situation where an EMS crew had to decontaminate from an exposure to bed bugs. And that was a mixed gender crew, and it was fortunately in the summertime where they were able to do that outside. And we had COVID come on late winter, early spring, and we didn't have that situation. And you know, though bed bugs aren't a great thing, COVID's a lot worse and it's deadly. And so it just underscored the importance of this project to me even more. As a business person, I look at, I'm tasked every day to be looking through the fog of what happens on a daily basis. And when I took a look at this project, it's true in business, nothing ever gets cheaper. We may get a lull here where things are less costly or there's a softness period, and in business you have to understand that that's an opportunity to seize. So while it's far from an ideal time, and I realize that many residents in Concord have anxiety and stress over the economy and what's going on in their communities, now is the time for us to seize an opportunity to make this project as affordable as it will get. Interest rates are low, the costs of construction are low, they aren't going to be lower. So in good conscience, knowing that I need to satisfy the safety and the service of the residents of Concord, but at the same time looking out for the employees of the township, that being the Concord Fire Department, I just can't ration passing on an opportunity to do the right thing for this department, this critical department. And I look forward to this process with enthusiasm and excitement. I have enjoyed very much dialoguing with residents. I think the stakeholder meetings have gone well, and I think it's a great idea that throughout the construction of these projects we continue to dialogue with the community and make ourselves available to answer questions and be responsive to the community, because that dialogue is going very well and has been helpful.
Right.
We've got great ideas from people, and it spurred us to think outside the box and think about different ways to approach the project, and has got it to the point where it is today at its maturation, and we're moving forward. And I think I can't get past the fact that this is the right decision to do for our community and foremost for our firefighters.
Right. Great. Thank you, Morgan. So there's a lot of other news in the township going on, so we are going to move on to our service department. We have some news there, and Amy is going to fill us in.
Thank you. So the service department has had a very busy summer. They have laid over 200 yards of concrete for various road repairs. The crews are currently out conducting the Durapatch in order to maintain our roads in the township. Starting evaluation of roads for next year's road resurfacing program is what's kind of going on right now and on their agenda, and they're looking forward to future projects.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I've been very impressed with our service department. Tim Brown came in and replaced Frank Kraska, and he hit the ground running. I mean, we have all heard from various residents in the township about some issues that the service department got and addressed very promptly. They got a lot of good accolades for the work that they do and their diligence in the community, and he's done a great job, and he's got a great team over there, so we're really fortunate to have him there. So he keeps busy.
I agree.
Does a great job.
When something happens, you call him and he's like, oh yeah, well we already did that. We already started that yesterday.
I've had the opportunity to be out dealing with two situations in the community with residents and complaints, and had the pleasure of working with Tim, and he's great to work with. I really enjoy. I know going out I'm going to have someone at my side that's supportive and knowledgeable, and he's really great with residents, as all of our staff are.
Right.
I mean, we have a great staff at Concord Township. We have a lot of people that really care about this community, and Tim has been a very nice addition.
He's been a great addition. So thank you to our service department, and we will keep you up to date on those new things and services that come available. And now we are going to move on to zoning.
So I guess I get to be the 10-year zoning member. Zoning is definitely, I have to say, as being a trustee, it still remains near and dear to my heart. Probably more so than when I was a zoning member, if that makes any sense. We're very excited to welcome a new business to Concord, and just south of Town Hall, Concord Collision is located with a brand new, actually state-of-the-art facility, and I remember approving that as a zoning commission member. And they're on 7502 Ravenna Road, and that owner is John DeMichael, who was also a Concord Township resident. And I met him last summer doing door-to-door, met his wife and his children. It's so exciting to see a member of the community put a business in Concord and recognize the value of being here in the township. And it's a great property. It's great to see that business there. Quail Hollow, 30 years later, continues to move forward. Subdivision 10, which is connecting off of Crowell Road into Hunting Lake Drive, is currently under construction. And we've got 2 developers working on that, and I know there's been a lot of interest and a lot of development. Lots are selling very, very fast. A lot of people really want to come to Concord. Right down the road from my neighborhood, Lily Farms, Summerwood over there by the new Parkside Elementary at 608. That's going on, and I just talked with Heather Freeman in the zoning office, and I think he's already sold a number of lots there. So it's really exciting to see construction continuing in Concord and that these things are moving along. And I think that's the update from the zoning. Yeah.
Moving on to recreation, and I got to tell you, when I started here as a trustee and had briefings on all my departments, I went home and I told my wife, I said, I cannot believe what Deborah Esker does in recreation. I said, I think we have more programs than most cities. She is energetic, very thorough, and just does a great job for the residents as far as recreation. So with an update on that, Mrs. Lucci.
Thank you very much, and I certainly agree. I think what's really lacking right now with COVID and all the quarantining and the social distancing, obviously, is that community connection. I think, we're all sort of missing out on, just being with each other, In any event, Deborah does a wonderful job. She has tremendous passion for what she does, and so does her staff, so it's obvious with what is going on in the rec department that we have such a great team. So with that, we do have extended office hours Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays are 8 to 8:30 p.m. We have our designated senior hours on Tuesdays 1 to 4 and Wednesdays 10 to 3 p.m. As far as fall classes, we have leisure and exercise classes at the community center. There are also virtual music classes. And then please check out the full listing on our website, concordtownship.com. One of my favorite things is when we get the grapevine in the mail and we see all the ton of classes. Right. It's such a great opportunity and so many things to look forward to. Our Red Cross blood drives have been fantastic. Well, the last one we had 29 donations, which serves about 80 people. We are going to continue those monthly through the end of the year, August 14th, September 2nd, October 9th, November 6th, and December 14th. As far as the fall grapevine, this will be sent to all Concord residents in early September. It contains updates on all the township departments and contains details on the fall community events, senior socials, classes, and programs.
Great. One other thing that's impressed me, with all this health crisis going on in the world and everything, and Deborah took some of these programs and was able to implement virtual programs through recreation, so people can do it, from their home and still be involved and have, contact and thing. And I think that's great. Yeah. So we're fortunate. So thank you, Deborah. I know everybody probably has a question of if we haven't been talking about this grocery store in a while, right? But we're going to let you in on a little tidbit here. We're close. We're hoping by the next talk of the township we can have an announcement to make, but we have had some contact in the last week. We're hoping we have final details that are out there, just getting ironed out. But we're hoping, and I know we've said this before, but with everything that's happened, things took a little longer than planned. But I think we're close, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to announce to our residents at the next meeting that we finally have a grocer that's going to be going in over at Riders. So with that, I would like to, in closing, just let our residents know that we have really done a lot since coming together right, as a board in January. We planned on hitting the road running right out of the gate with the fire station project that had been in development for a few years. And I had been involved with it after being appointed in April of last year. But that prevented us to sort of get into these stakeholder meetings early. But I think we compensated for that. We came out, we engaged the community. We have done a lot of work. We're committed to this project. I think we've been honest and transparent. And I really believe we have put together an affordable package for our residents. And I think now more than ever, it's time to demonstrate our commitment to our first responders so that we can retain them, maintain their health and wellness, so they can ultimately, serve the residents of this community in such a great fashion as they do. Coming from public safety, I worked with most of these guys my entire career. I know what motivates us. It's the service to our residents, and and that's very rewarding to each and every one of these guys. So I think it's, we have an obligation at this point to do what we're doing and to demonstrate that commitment by pushing these stations through and getting this funding so we can get these stations built.
Carl, I think that's a great point. And the things that I'm thinking about as we're wrapping up our second talk of the township and rounding out nearly 8 months of service together is teamwork. I think we've specifically mentioned both Tim Brown and Deb Esker as department heads that we've worked with, and we've mentioned the Concord firefighters, and some of them are watching us film today. But aside of those specific mentions, there's a fantastic team at work here in Concord. We have a great township administrator. We have great other department heads, and there's a lot of new people. There's a lot of new faces when you take a look at Concord Township as far as all of our department heads and trustees even. You've got a great team that's come together in a short amount of time, who's taking a very urgent situation with respect to this fire department and gone forward and done the right thing. It is never an easy decision to make, and I've made a lot of difficult decisions in my life, but never have I made one that's been up for such public scrutiny. And I definitely think, in my view of history, and when I look at things, the leaders who take the easy route and don't make the tough decisions, it's safe. You can do that, but it's the bold and having the vision and being able to see through and address a critical need. I don't think I can underscore enough how desperate the situation is with our fire facilities. I mean, if we're sitting here thinking, it'd be nice to have a new facility, I think we really need to understand that it's not just, it'd be nice to have a new facility, it's beyond need. This is a very critical situation. It is very important. And this decision was tough on all of us. I know that we spent a lot of time talking about it.
A lot of time.
Pro, cons, and I can honestly say that it was in the meeting, and it wasn't until right then and there that we made the decision about how to approach. I mean, I watched each of us struggle with it. I'm sure we noodled over in our own time, and we certainly discussed it together. And I feel good about the decision. It's never an easy thing to go to people and ask for additional money, but this is the right thing to do. The safety of our safety forces in Concord depend on it, and there's no other way to say it.
Right. And we're also fortunate to have, Amy Dawson, our fiscal officer, who is very good with our budgets and our money, and her past practice of being able to pay off all debt early is just, it's beneficial to our community, because that's our intention with this project. So, Amy?
I agree. She has led us down a very nice path of finding the most fiscally responsible ways to fund such projects as this. I certainly see value in Concord, not only in what our community offers, our township, our departments, our servicemen and women, but I think as trustees, I think our mission as stewards of the community is really what drives us, what our intentions are. When we first came into 2020, we had no idea we were going to be in a pandemic. We really didn't know what was going to happen with Fire Station, but I think we really come together because of our basic value of service and what's best for the community. And as a team, we all kind of being around that same mission, I think, is really going to drive us into future and move this project forward.
Right. Well, we are fortunate to have a great team. And so winding down our last edition of Talk of the Township, I would like to throw kudos out to our cameraman, though, Rick, because without his great ability, none of this would be possible. And I always forget to recognize him. He's a great guy. Thank you, Rick, for
and I
being
think,
here with us.
yes, for all the stakeholder meetings,
Yeah,
and this going on site, it's not just showing up and filming at town hall. A little extra work has been done.
And he does a phenomenal job. So, in closing, we hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for joining us. It's going to be beautiful. Stay safe and healthy. And we are looking forward to our next meeting and moving these projects forward. So thank you and have a great weekend, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.